Hello, this is Daniel from ExecUtron Development Corporation. In this video, I'm going to show you how PIMS can interact with a customer engagement device used to process credit cards, Apple Pay, and so on. The device that we're using today is the VeriFone MX-915. You've probably seen these at Whole Foods, Home Depot, and stores of that nature. PIMS, both Macintosh and Windows, is fully compatible with this machine if you use Cayan as your credit card processor, and you have the PIMS-Gold version of PIMS. PIMS is fully certified through Cayan for everything they have to offer in the way of credit card processing. This includes the new EMV cards, those are the cards with the chips in them, Apple Pay, Google, debit cards with PIN number entry, gift cards, and also different credit card scenarios like cash back from your debit card, user tips, donations, and merchant-sponsored transaction discounts. And I'll show you an example of all of those things. Okay, let's get started. In this video, I'm not going to show you how to set up all the different parameters for running credit cards and doing processing of this nature through Cayan. That's going to be in a separate video. And at the bottom of this video, we'll have a link to it so you can go and play that video if you'd like to see how to set it up. We're just going to go through all the various types of transactions. So let's just do a simple credit card transaction. I'll just pull up our full order entry screen here. Put a ParisWorks on there. Select the payment type like we always have in PIMS. This is a little different. You will not be selecting the individual card types like Visa or MasterCard. You're actually just going to be choosing the device. Unless it's cash or check, you pick cash or check. But we're going to go ahead and pick our VeriFone device that is hooked up to this terminal. Upon doing so, the information is sent to the device, known as a CED, a customer engagement device, and it's waiting for the customer to pick a card or go ahead and run the payment. So I'm just going to swipe a card here. And in this particular situation, our machine has been configured to ask people for donations. Now this type of configuration is done at Cayan to your account. These devices will check in with Cayan about once an hour to see if there's any updates. And they can configure such things as cash back for debit cards, donations in this case. And so we have a couple of things configured here. Not that a lot of you will be using them, but we just wanted to show it as part of this demonstration. So I'll pretend I'm at Whole Foods and have been shamed into a $10 donation. I could have hit cancel. And now it's prompted me for my signature. I'll go ahead and sign, accept, and here is our $50 sale. And you'll notice that PIMS automatically put the $10 donation to our Save the Whales donation. And it did this automatically based on some settings that you have. As a matter of fact, even the accounting is completely taken care of. We have all our cost of sales, and here's our liability account for customer CED donations. Once I'm happy with everything, go ahead and print it out for the customer. Go ahead and show it here. Here's our line items, necessary credit card information printed as it should be based on certification for this particular payment type. And here is your disclaimer text, which you can modify, and also the signature, and this just happens to be the name on the card. It's an old American Express gift card. And that's a very simple sale. Now let's do a pre-authorization with a future post-authorization. Often when you buy things out of catalogs online, they will pre-authorize your credit card. They won't capture the funds yet, but they'll hold those funds aside until such time that they're ready to ship. Again, that's called pre-authorization and post-authorization. In PIMS, this is automatically done by the fact that your order type is a sales order. So I'll go ahead and put our ParisWorks on there again. And this time, when I run a credit card, it'll prompt me to let me know that this needs to be finalized no later than 11/27 of 2015. I'll say fine, we hope to ship before then. And we are awaiting the card information. So let's go ahead and swipe our card again. And we're not going to do any donation. And it's been approved. And we'll go ahead and sign for it. And this amount has now been pre-authorized. Go ahead and hit save. And as a matter of fact, let me show you what that looks like on the Cayan website. Sign back in. And here it shows the $50 pre-authorization that we just did. And this, what you're looking at here, is the Cayan website for your account, where you can keep track of all your sales and batch information and everything for the day or for any date range you pick. And right here is our pending sale for $50. We click on it, it'll expand, and here's all the information that was sent. So let's go ahead and pretend 10 days has gone by, the product's ready to ship, and we're going to turn that order into an invoice. Whoops, forgot it's a sales order, so we're going to turn it into an invoice. There we go. I will turn it into an invoice. At this point, PIMS knows that it was a pre-authorization that needs to be post-authed. So you'll see a capture button show up. All we have to do is click the capture button, and it'll say, shall we finalize this? We say yes, it was approved, and everything is taken care of. Now, it didn't ask for anything because all it had to do was simply send the original transaction information in the way of a token number to Cayan, and they went and finalized the order for us. As a matter of fact, if we come back up, pre-authorizations have now gone to 0, and here's our transaction. It's now a post-authorization. And that's how you do a post-auth in PIMS. Okay, let's do a debit card transaction with cash back. We'll mix it up here a little. I'm going to go to my point of sale terminal instead. And we'll just pick our payment type here. Cayan device. It's now waiting for our transaction from the customer. I'll go ahead and pick debit card. Swipe the card. The customer then enters a PIN number. And then they're prompted for cash back. I'll pick 20 and no donation. And it's approved. And you'll notice it didn't ask for a signature. It didn't need to. It was verified by the PIN number. And here we've got our cash back for $20. And I can't show you on this screen, but on the large screen, if we were to look at the sales log, all the accounting has taken place for this. As a matter of fact, we won't bother printing it. Let's go ahead and show that. So let's go ahead and pull up our last order here. Sales journal, cash back. Already set up, all your accounting's done. You don't need to weed through, you don't need to try to find these cash back. All done for you automatically. Okay, now let me show you what happens when you only get a partial authorization, meaning that the money that was authorized was less than what you needed to satisfy the transaction. Let's go ahead and go to the full order entry under Anderson Hardware, and we'll sell another ParisWorks. And I'll go ahead Send the information over to the CED, and I'm going to go ahead and swipe a card. And no donation. Now you'll notice that the machine has come back and told the customer that the only amount they had available on their card was $4, and they still owe $46. PIMS is saying the same thing up on the screen. Now what it did was it dropped down, it put the $4 as authorized, and it dropped the remaining balance down in the second payment field. Now if you're lucky, they'll have cash. We can select cash here, and PIMS is happy. But if they had no other form of payment, and you basically have to give up on the sale, you'll see a red dot over here. Clicking this red dot will ask you if you'd like to void that specific transaction. I'm going to say yes, and the transaction was voided. So it has been removed from the merchant account at Cayan. So they have their $4 back on their card, and you can just cancel the sale. Now I'm going to show you a function that not very many of you use, but we've gone ahead and built it into PIMS, and it is fully certified through Cayan and a variety of merchants. What this is it is a discount structure that is handled as part of a credit card transaction through specific vendors and merchants and things of that nature that you might have agreements with. And I'll show you an example. Let's go ahead and sell another Paris Works to Anderson Hardware. And this time I'm going to set it to a specific dollar amount. And I'm going to learn how to type here. And I'm picking this because this was going to force that type of transaction to come back. So I'll go ahead and send it to the device. And this is what we got back. Here's the Paris Works that we sold. And the merchant for this credit card has the following discounts available for a total of $1. And it's a $1 soft card offer, $1 off. Now, this is not something you set up in your system. This is something that an arrangement you have with a particular vendor for a particular product, if maybe run with, let's say, Capital One card. So Capital One has an agreement with this vendor for this particular product, and the discount is handled through the transaction. So even though we sold something for $2.08, the customer was only charged, and you're only depositing $1.08. And it's between you and the vendor to get reimbursed if that's part of your arrangement. Again, something I'm not terribly thrilled about, certainly as a retailer, but it's built into PIMS. You have to authorize it ahead of time, so just know that it's available. As a matter of fact, PIMS can handle multiple occurrences of discounts. So let's go ahead and put Paris Works on there again, and I'm going to change it to $2.11, and this should return 2 discounts. So a 50-cent rebate and a $1.50 free item up to $1.50. So actually, the customer's only paying 11 cents for all this stuff, thanks to the merchants. Again, this is available if you need to use it. Let's just hope that you don't have to. Or maybe you would. Maybe it'd be good for your business. That's up to you, but PIMS handles it perfectly. And even put this is all part of your settings to where even your accounting is handled properly. Credit card transaction discount. So you can keep track of all that automatically in your accounting. There's nothing further you need to do. Let's talk EMV. these are the new cards that have the chips built into them. And this is kind of what sparked the whole change in the credit card industry, and was the driving force for us to implement this into PIMS. And the rules are different for these cards. You don't swipe them anymore. You actually stick them into the machine, and you leave it in there until the transaction is finished. A great deal of information is sent to the processor, and the printouts are very specific. The information that you have to have on your invoices and receipts are very specific to actually each of the credit card companies, such as Visa, MasterCard, Discover. You can't print the expiration date, but American Express does want the expiration date. Well, PIMS will handle all of that for you automatically. So let's go ahead and do an EMV sale. And we're going to do Anderson Hardware, and guess what we're going to sell them. And I'm going to simulate some different types of EMV. I'm not going to show you the device because we have to use the real thing here. So I'm going to go ahead and do a Visa. And I'm going to select the device, and we got an approval back. Now, it's the same as any other credit card transaction. Where it differs is on the printout. On the printout, we have to have some specific information. The fact that it was approved without a signature, an AID number, an application label. This is not application as in PIMS. This is the application that verified the secure cipher information that was sent. In this case, it's Visa Electron. The PIN statement, PIN has been verified, and the type of encryption information. And it's mandatory that this prints out on your invoice and or your receipt from your receipt printer. PIMS will handle that automatically. The same payment field in Forms Designer that used to just have this information right here now has all this information added to it. So let's go ahead and do one more. We'll do an American Express this time. And let's see, that is going to be 6.02. And we'll select it. And there it is. And we'll go ahead and print it out. And you will see that we now have an expiration date because American Express requires that. And all of the cipher information is the same. Again, your printouts will meet all of the requirements. Now then, here is another important thing that has been added to EMV chip technology. We're going to go ahead and sell, but we're going to have this declined. So we'll go ahead and send it off. And it's been declined. This is what the decline screen looks like. So go ahead and close out. But because this is an EMV card, you have to ask the customer if they'd like a receipt for their declined transaction. If they don't want one, you skip, or you print it out. What it does is it brings up our regular large text display. It says the payment was processed by, it's got your company name, cardholder name, all the information that was sent, transport key, here's all that EMV data, and the error returned. It was declined. You can email it to the customer, you can print it out and send it to them, whatever you'd like to do. But again, regulations state that if an EMV card has been declined, that you have to give the customer a piece of paper that they could contact their card company and or walk into a bank and show them this information to show that there's been no form of discrimination or anything of that nature. Basically, this is proof that it was actually declined by the processor. And that's another little tidbit that's been added to EMV. Okay, let's talk gift cards. PIMS can help you process, by process I mean sell, recharge, and use as payment in-house gift cards. Now, PIMS has been doing this for almost 20 years now itself internally. And if you set this up in Cayan, you can have a much more mainstream gift card experience. And Cayan takes care of keeping track of all the balances and everything for you. Honestly, it's the only way to go. So let me show you how this is done. Let's say I have a bunch of blank gift cards and I'm selling one. So I have an inventory item called gift card. And let's say I want to sell it for $50. And again, this is just our regular inventory item that we've set up that we have flagged as a gift card. And let's say they're paying cash for it. So when I go to print or save, the processing will take place. I'll go ahead and just hit save. What it is it's now prompting us for the card number. Now I can either type it in manually, it's usually printed on the back of the card, or I can swipe it. PIMS knows the difference. So I'm lazy today, so I'm just going to go ahead and swipe it in. And the card has been activated and loaded up with $50. If I want to check it, there's a couple places I can do that. Come here to the File menu, check card balance. Again, I can type it or swipe it. I'll just swipe it in. Got an old-fashioned swiper. And the original amount was $0, and the current balance is $50. And I've already demonstrated its use. I'll do it again. And Anderson Hardware, Paris Works, we'll discount it for $45. Do that, and I will swipe our new gift card. If I don't knock the camera over, no donation, and it's been approved. And again, there's no signatures on gift cards. And that's all you need to do to sell one. Now, if I want to reload this card, customer comes in, what do I have on my card? Well, we can just come right here from the order itself, check the balance. Again, I can either type it or swipe it. And this information is coming back from Cayan. Well, we're down to $5. And the customer goes, well, can I reload that? We go, sure. How much would you like? You go, well, can you put another $50 on it? He goes, sure. Put $50. And let's say they're paying cash again, or they can pay with credit card. Doesn't matter. And we'll just go ahead and save it. It's asking for that card again. And now it's just been reloaded with another $50. And it's instantaneous. So if we come here and check the balance again, you will see that we now have, I think we should have, what, 55? And we have $55. And that's all you need to do to process gift cards. Extremely simple. You set it up once. You don't have to worry about it. Cayan does all the heavy lifting for you. It's the only way to go. Let's say you're doing a transaction and something happens. You lose your internet halfway through, there's a power failure, and you have that uncertain feeling. You don't know if the credit card went through or not before there was the power outage or a problem or somebody tripped over the cord or whatever it is. The customer doesn't know either. Nobody knows. So PIMS has a failsafe built into it to handle this. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate the issue here. We'll sell a Paris Works. And we'll go ahead and do the device. And now I'm going to pretend that there is an issue with the device. Basically, we'll pretend that we ran a card, but we're going to go ahead and let it time out. Okay, what happened was I simulated a machine failure. So when PIMS sees that a transaction was started, but something happened, then it will contact the server at Cayan and see if the transaction actually went through or not. And it would tell you on this screen. In this particular case, the transaction did not go through. There's another place you can check this as well in a listing, and I'll show you that later. But for all intents and purposes, PIMS knows that this transaction did not go through. And we'll just go ahead and cancel. In your sales environment, there might be times where you don't have a CED device available to run credit cards. Either your machine has malfunctioned, is not available for whatever reason, and or you have a warehouse where you don't ever swipe cards, but to fulfill orders sometimes you need to manually enter credit card information. Either way, PIMS has this handled. Let me show you what I mean. So we're going to say that we have an instance here where the machine is malfunctioning and maybe you send it back for repair. So we'll go ahead and sell a Paris Works here. And PIMS will know that there is no machine hooked up to this terminal, either because it's physically not hooked up or it's not turned on or working or whatever. But the sale needs to go through. So you just select it as you always would, even though you might not have a device hooked up to this terminal. And PIMS will switch to a different format. This is a web portal built into Cayan. You can still have your PCI 3 compliance because this will be a secure connection, not in PIMS, but directly to Cayan. All we do is just click Start Web, and their web portal comes up in a special window. Now we can either manually enter this information, or I can click Swipe. Let's say the machine has gone bad, and Cayan can provide you with a special encrypted card swiper that you can swipe into the internet. And that's what we're tied to right now, the internet, and we're tied directly to Cayan. So I'll go ahead and swipe the card, and we got an approval. We close, and it's just as though we ran it through the machine. So again, you can manually enter, or if you have one of Cayan's secure swipers, you can swipe it directly into their site. And again, you're still completely compliant. Okay, let's talk refunding. There's basically 3 different ways you can refund a credit card transaction to a customer. You can refund it back to the original transaction, which both Cayan and PIMS stores. You can refund it physically to a credit card, or you can actually refund it to a gift card. Basically, you take the money owed to the customer and you can charge up a gift card with it. So let's go ahead and do a refund. Actually, let's find some of our orders that we have here. Let's go ahead and find an older one. Here we go. And let's go ahead and they want to bring Dim City back. So I'm going to go ahead and refund that product. Send it over to another order to refund. And I'll select our device like we always would. And this has been refunded. The order was for a lot more, but this has gone ahead and processed a refund for this dollar amount out of the original transaction. So the customer didn't need to be present. You didn't need to see their card again, anything of that nature. And actually, if we go to their web portal, to sign back in, it's timed out. and go to the history, and we click right here. Here's our $125 refund. Now let's go ahead and refund to a physical card. So let's list some orders here, and let's grab this one. What I'm going to do is, well, here, let's see what we have here. We have a Paris Works for $45. Okay. I'm just going to create a new order, and we'll put our Paris Works on there for $45, and we're going to set a negative quantity. I guess we're giving it back. They don't have their original invoice with them. We'll leave that blank, and we'll go ahead and select the device. Wants that order number again. Don't know what it is. Says, well, do you have the original transaction ID? No, we don't. We'll hit that. Now what it does is, if it can't refund the original transaction, then it's going to ask for a credit card. So we're going to find the original card. The customer's standing in there, and they want it right back on their card. So we just swipe it. Oop, not fast enough. There we go. And they're going to sign for it. And the refund has been processed back onto their card. Now, there's really no reason you would need to do this. We did build that in. You should always go from the original transaction. And PIMS does that automatically. You don't even have to think about it. In the previous example, we just simply refunded one of the products on there. PIMS looked up everything, took care of everything. It was over within a second. You didn't need to add any more information. But be aware that this is available just in case you need it. So now let's go ahead and refund to a credit card. So let's see what we have here. I can't remember what we refunded or didn't refund. Let's go ahead and, well, here. Let's say we, again, got a Paris Works, and they paid $25 for it. And we're going to set it to a -1 that we're returning it. And we don't know the original anything. And I'm going to go ahead and select it. Don't know the original order, don't know this. Again, you're really not going to do this. You're going to let PIMS do it automatically. But if you want to give them something back on a gift card because you don't do returns, then this would be a way to do it. And now I'm going to grab my gift card, and I'm going to go ahead and swipe it into the machine. I've swiped it in, and it's approved. And just to make sure, let's go ahead and check the balance on here. Grab the correct swiper here. And $30. Remember, this particular gift card had a $5 balance. It's now got a $30 balance because we just refunded that $25 back to this. So with this system, you can give out gift cards for return product if necessary. And that's how you do refunds. When I built the Cayan transaction processing into PIMS-Gold, I wanted to make it so that the end user cost is kept as low as possible when it comes to the CEDs, the customer engagement device. So it's set up to where PIMS-Gold can share device between multiple PIMS terminals. Usually I wouldn't probably share more than 2 terminals per device, so that way you can keep an eye on it. But basically, PIMS will go into a queuing system. Here, for instance, I've gone ahead and started a credit card transaction on another terminal here to the left of me, and now I'm going to try to do one here. So we'll just do a Paris Works, and let's go ahead and try to run a credit card. Now what you see is this dialog box right here saying waiting for CED to become available. And what we're doing is we're in a queue right now. And I'm going to go ahead and finalize the transaction on this other terminal. And now this terminal has automatically become available to run it. I'm going to go ahead and cancel here because I want to do it again. And this time, okay, I started a transaction on another terminal. I'll go ahead and run it here. And if you don't want to wait for whatever reason, all you have to do is click this close box right here, and you'll immediately go into the web version if necessary. In Windows, it's an actual button as opposed to the Macintosh version of the little checkbox right here. But again, there's a queuing system in here. So the bottom line is multiple PIMS terminals can share a single device. Okay, to wrap things up, I'm just going to show a few more remaining functions and notables here. Let's go ahead and do a transaction. And we'll do one for Anderson Hardware. And I'm not going to bother showing the device here. We've seen enough of that, know how it works. I'm going to do a couple of sales here. 2 transactions, 2 credit cards on the same order. So I'll go ahead and run one here. And I'm just going to go ahead and swipe the card. And no donation. It's been approved. I'll sign it. And there's number 1. So we still have a $20 balance, and they just gave me a different credit card. So I'll scan that card. There we go. Of course, it helps if I put the card the right way. There we go. And we've got that card, and that's been approved as well. And waiting on my signature. And we've got it. Now, when we print it out, we're going to have 2 different signatures on there, each for the 2 transactions that were run. And here are the 2 individual transactions. And another function that we had mentioned, I'll just leave it like that. I'll go ahead and collect the or select the device, and I'll swipe the card. And no donation. And it wants my signature. These red dots, these allow you to void individual transactions only while the order is initially up in the screen. If you save this order and come back to it or whatever, then you have to go ahead and void the order. But while it's still fresh up on the screen, all you have to do is click on this button. It'll say, do you want to void this transaction? You hit void. If it goes through, it lets you know. If it doesn't, it lets you know that as well. But it should go through. There should be no reason it doesn't. And that payment type has been removed. The customer card is voided. They'll never see it on their statement. It'll be as though it never happened. And again, you can do that for the first 2 payments. Which brings up a point that running credit cards through Cayan, you can only run credit cards on the first 2 payments. Unlike other credit card processors that we use, you cannot use the third. The third can be cash, check, whatever. The reason for that is there are occasions where information is sent back where we need to spill a balance down into this third field, like for partial authorizations. So just remember, you can only use it in the first 2. You try to use this, it's going to come up and bark at you and tell you you can't. So you're only going to get your 2 red void buttons on these 2. Now, another thing that you can do is, let's say that the customer's card doesn't work. That's actually happened to me before. My card's dead, and the poor clerk has to hand enter everything. All you have to do is click Switch to Manual, or hit the F6 key. And if we do that, you can't see the machine right now, but it's now prompting me for a card number. I hit Next. It's going to ask for expiration date and things of that nature. And so you can enter the card manually that way. And if for any reason you ever need to cancel the device, all you have to do is hit Cancel Transaction. The machine goes back to its splash screen, and it's as though nothing happened. It will not let you cancel if you're in the process of authorizing, though. Only if it's basically waiting for non-important information. And that's it for the running of transactions. Oh, one more thing. A little behind-the-scenes thing here, a little undocumented feature. If I select this and I hold down on the Shift key, I'm holding down on the Shift key right now, and I hit the Select button, I'll go directly to that web. I don't know why you'd ever need to use that, but if you have to, you can simply hold down the Shift key, and you go straight to it. We hit Cancel, so it was declined. Something else I want to show you is the listing of all the cards run. PIMS keeps a very detailed list of all the credit cards and gift cards run through it. For those of you that have multiple locations, this information also comes from other locations. We were just running it at the main, but you can see your other locations here as well. And it data syncs over to it. So your accounting people always have all credit cards run right here. Now then, if I double click on a line item, I'm given the choice of looking up the details at Cayan or looking at the actual raw information. Let's look it up in Cayan. This is coming directly from their server. If for any reason you need this information, here it is. Put it in the clipboard, paste it into an email, send an email directly, save it, print it out, whatever you want to do. It even shows you the signature that's been captured. The other thing you can do when you double click is view complete session data. This is basically a bunch of gobbledygook. This is what PIMS sends to the processing equipment and the information it gets back. This would be for dire straits. You know, something is happening, you don't know what's wrong with your account, and if Cayan wants the transaction information, here it is. Send it in an email, save it to the disk, send it to the clipboard, and paste it into something you're typing to them. This is all of the information for this transaction. And again, you pretty much only need it if there's a problem, but in all the testing we've done for the last several months, we've never had a failure. This thing is pretty much bulletproof. And that concludes the Cayan processing through PIMS. There'll be another video that shows you how to set all of this up in PIMS. There's various settings in there. Once you set them up, you never have to do it again unless something changes.